All right, welcome to part 2 of the car controller Unity Playmaker series thing. Very official title. So apparently I didn't save last time, but luckily I had like 2 other versions of the demo cart. So I think I have this one. I had to remove a couple things, but I think I have this set up like we did when we left. All right, there's our cart. I think that's a bit faster, but the turn radius seems about right. But it does seem to be going, well, maybe it's not going faster than my last one, but roughly the same thing we were doing. But if you're curious why the cart's a different color, it's because it's not the same one we were working on in the last episode. All right, so the last episode, we did everything you just saw me do. We can drive our cart and turn, but we can't make the wheels move. So we're going to try making the wheels move now. All right, so to get the wheels moving, let's start with the front wheels. All right, so I think we're still going to keep our FSM here on the demo cart because it just makes it easier to find. So I'm just going to click on the FSM list here and just create a new FSM. And let's just call it front wheel turn. And as with everything we've been doing when it comes to turning, we need to get the horizontal axis, right? Let's bring my actions panel back up here. Get axis. Remember, capital H with 4 horizontal. And we need our turn multiplier. And I think I'm going to keep this at 180 because I think that looked okay. But maybe not. We'll see. Might change it to 90, but I think it matches pretty well at 180. We're not going to actually let the wheels turn that much, 180 degrees. We're going to clamp it. But this is just going to kind of get like how fast the wheels are turning. All right, so turn multiplier. No, we're not storing it as turn multiplier. We want to store this as turn float every frame. Let's go ahead and set a variable for our turn multiplier. And I'm going to put it in the inspector just so if I want to change it easier at runtime, it's right there. But I'm going to make this 180 degrees. Might switch it to 90 if I don't like the look of it. All right, but now we're going to clamp it. Because even though it's going to multiply the horizontal float. So the horizontal float that we're getting between, it's from 0 to 1. So we have to multiply something by it to make it useful for us. Otherwise, we're not getting very big values at all. Okay. So let's clamp our turn float. And I just did this by looking at the wheels. So I just took the front wheel and I just rotated it in the inspector. So like over here, if I lock the FSM, I don't really need to. I just grabbed the, I just completely omitted something. You know, I just grabbed the front wheel and I just rotated it and I looked how far I'd want it to go. And so I don't want it to go more than 35 degrees. But there's something that I really needed to mention first, so sorry I didn't. If you notice that my hierarchy for the cart might look a little bit different than yours. Because something interesting happens, because we're going to have an FSM that controls the wheels turning, but also the wheels rotating. And something, I don't know if it's a combination of the two running at the same time that makes Unity or the inspector or something go bonkers. So to get around it, and it's not necessarily a Playmaker thing, it's just a scripting thing. Like it just, the two maths kind of conflict. So one way you get around this, I'm not sure why this works, but you don't rotate the object itself. You put it inside an empty parent and you rotate the parent. So we're going to be turning the parent, but we're going to be, whenever we actually spin the wheels, we'll be spinning the wheels themselves. So the parent's going to do the turning like this, and then we'll have the FSM targeting the wheels to spin like this. All right, so what I did is I just right-clicked on the wheel, and I just created an empty, and that was pretty much it. And then I just drug it outside of it, and then I drug the child into it. All right, so sorry that we didn't get to see that tutorial, but I think you can figure that part out. So back to our FSM here. So we're getting our horizontal axis and we're going to clamp it. I don't want it to go any less than a negative 35 degrees. Not sure what happened there. Negative 3, 5. and no more than 35 degrees. And of course, we need to clamp that every frame. And then we need to actually now set the rotation. So set rotation. But remember, we're not actually doing it to the wheel itself. We're doing it to its parent. So I'll start with the front left parent. And the Y angle is going to be our turn float. And every frame. And let's do it in its self space, because as the cart moves around the world, you know, the world angle is going to be different. So like if you have it do it on world, your wheel is just going to go bonkers as you move around the track. So obviously you want to do it on local space, so self space. All right, so we want to do it on the front parent. We can just Control C, Control V. And then let's do the right parent. And I think that should be it. I think our front wheels should now turn. Only one way to find out for sure is we hit play, and let's see what happens. Ooh, that loaded nice and fast. All right, we're driving, and now we're turning. I don't know. What do y'all think? Are the wheels turning a bit too fast? They don't really seem to be... they're not great. Front wheels turn. Let's set our turn multiplier to 90. You know, and I think in our actual turn multiplier in the... I think our turn multiplier on the other demo, I think we actually had set to 90 as well, so that might not be right. All right, it's a little bit better. I do think our cart's turning too fast, so I think in the old demo, I had this set to 90 as well. Let's see what that looks like. Again, these values, they're not gospel. You can set them to whatever you like the best. Yeah, I kind of... I think that works for me. It doesn't look as perfect as I had it in the past, but... I don't know. Oh, also, I don't think my sphere's in the same position on this cart as the other one. Let's take a look. Where's my sphere? Yeah, it's not exactly centered on the front wheel axle. So let's do that and see if we notice much difference. I think I do see a difference. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. I don't know. What do y'all think? In comments, tag this time code on the video and say what you feel. Do the front wheels look like they're turning with the cart? Because again, I'm not like using some type of special math to determine what should be right here. I'm just doing it based on just what I think looks good. And that's what you can do too. All right, so front wheels looking good, at least good enough for me. So now we need to make the wheels spin. So let's create a new FSM. And we're going to call this wheel spin. Not shield. Wheel spin. So, as with seems like every FSM in this tutorial, we need to get an axis. All right, we're going to get vertical. Trackpad got stuck. There we go. And of course, let's set a multiplier variable. That way it's easy to change later on. And this one I'm going to set to 180. And we'll put it in the there as well. So there we go. And store this bad boy as vert float. And then we need to rotate the wheels, right? We just got to rotate the wheels now. So let's specify front left. And we're going to rotate on the x-axis, our vert float. We need to make sure that we do it on self. We do it on per second. Otherwise, it's just going to insanely spin if we don't have it do it every second. And so now we're just going to copy and paste this for every wheel. All right, I think we should be good. Let's take a look and see it spin. Zoom, zoom. All right, there it goes. I mean, that looks pretty good. If you think that the speed needs to be faster, which maybe it does. Yeah, I feel like the wheels are barely moving for how fast it's going. So maybe we can just come to demo cart, wheel spin. Where is it at? Did we do this the right one? We did, right? Why isn't that showing up over here? That's really odd. Wheel spin. Where did we put it? Oh, we put it on the sphere? Gosh dang it. Why did I do that? Why did y'all let me do that? All right, copy component. Let's get it off. Let's get it off the sphere. Paste component is new. Go back to the sphere and just remove it. I cannot click today. All right, yeah, remove it from here. You shouldn't be on the sphere. I don't have any idea how that happened. All right, let's make it go. Let's go full 360. Let's see how that goes. Now, you might want to add something that, like, somehow keeps the wheels spinning a little bit. Because, I mean, look at a slide, right? Unless you just want to, like, add a brake sound. That'd probably do it, right? You apply brakes, it's wheels stop spinning. I don't know. But still, for a simple arcade thing, that's looking pretty good. All right, I can't decide if I want to do this next bit. I think I want to do this next bit for this tutorial. We're going to make this steering wheel move. And so we're going to do a little Probuilder tutorial. Woo! Okay, so I didn't build this cart model. It's just it's a simple cart made by Cinti Studios. I would love to make this steering wheel rotate. But this entire thing, except for the wheels, is all one piece. So we need to go to the demo cart. Okay, this is our demo cart. Notice the mesh, everything all together. We need to break this up. Now we can take it out into Blender. We can take it out into Blender and do that. But we're just going to use Probuilder. Do I have Probuilder in here? I should, because I've done this before. So I'm going to go to Tools, Probuilder. Probuilder is free, so if you don't have it, you can go into the package manager, look in the Unity registry, and just type in Probuilder. Okay, you can see it's right there because I just added it recently to this project. There we go. But just search Probuilder in the package manager and install it. All right, so I'm going to go into Tools. I'm going to go to Probuilder and then Probuilder window. Yeah, I'm just going to drop this down here. Okay, so I'm going to click on my demo cart. And I want to Probuilderize. Now, when there's a plus sign, I like to click the plus sign just to make sure it's doing what I want. But yeah, I don't see any reason that should be a problem. Now, sometimes when you Probuilderize, no, don't Probuilderize children. Sometimes when you Probuilderize, the UVs get all messed up, and then you have to remap the UVs. But I didn't notice anything change with the UVs. All the colors still look fine. If they did change, they didn't change in a way that I care about. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to face selection, and I'm going to select all the steering wheel faces. All right, once we have the entire steering wheel selected, I want to make it its own object. So detach faces, again, I'm going to click this plus button just to make sure it does what I want. And I want it to be as a separate game object. It could I can't remember if submesh just makes it a child, but just to be safe, I make it a separate game object, and then I just rechild it to the thing. All right, so there we go. We have our steering wheel right here. And then I'm just going to drop it right back on the card again, so it stays with the card. All right, so this next piece gets a bit wonky, because what we're going to want to do is we're going to rotate the steering wheel. But we don't have a good axis to do it on, because it's at an angle, right? And all of a sudden, I'm not really remembering. All right, so you can see my little pivot point is a little off here. So I'm going to try to set it by clicking this, and it's not really doing anything. I could try to center the pivot, and it's not really doing anything. I can even try to like go like this, and then like maybe take this point. Can't click that point. Whoa. Here, let's just try like clicking this face, right? Click that face, and I can try to set the pivot there. Even center pivot. And now if I switch back to the object, there we go. Now we got a centered pivot. Great. So now at least our steering wheel is centered. But no matter what I tried to do, I couldn't get the pivot to rotate like this. I don't know what the problem was. So what I did instead is, what did I do? All right, so I had to do something pretty goofy to get a good parent setup here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate. First, I want to switch to ISO. Let's get a side view. And I'm going to rotate the steering wheel to where it's flat like this. So what axis does that need to rotate on? Looks like the X. Wrong way. So I'm just going to rotate it until it looks flat. That looks pretty flat. All right, and so now I'm going to create an empty, and I'm going to call this steering. You got to spell things right, though. Steering, you don't have to, but steering wheel parent. Okay. Let's create our parent. Steering wheel parent. Let's take our steering wheel and let's rotate them to where it's flat. Now I should create my, I need to make my steering wheel flat first, then create the parent. And now that I have my parent here, I'm now going to zero out the main one. I'm going to copy that. I don't know how I did this last time. I swear I didn't have to do this manually, but now I'm going to do it manually to where instead of 53.57 degrees is where I found it flat, I don't want it to be that way, because I want this y-axis to basically be pointing the opposite. So if I just put a negative 53.57, that's what we want. All right, so I don't know why I couldn't reproduce what I did last time where I created the child and rotated it, but anyways, this works. I need my steering wheel parent object that I'm going to make the parent to have its y-axis in this direction. So you can do what I did, just get when you make the steering wheel flat, just get what its rotation is, and then make the parent child that we're going to make a parent in a minute, just make it be the reverse of that. So now if I come up here, make it the parent, then put the steering wheel in the steering wheel parent, I get out of isometric view. Now if I rotate the steering wheel parent along the y-axis, I'm so confused. So I messed around trying to figure out with the cart, right, or steering wheel, right, steering wheel parent, why when we rotate this parent, we can clearly see y-axis is here. So if we rotate along the y, we should be turning the steering wheel the way that we want. And for some reason, it's turning something crazy. And I don't even know what made me do it, but I clicked on the steering wheel itself, which you can clearly see its y-axis is going straight up for in local space. If I rotate this on the y, it rotates how I want. It makes no sense. I even went back and watched my botched recording that I had of this tutorial that made me start over, and I saw it should have been rotating from the parent. So this makes no sense to me. If someone wants to explain it to me, please put it in comments, because it should not be working, but it is. But still, before we get to the rotation FSMs, I'm on the steering wheel here. There's one more thing I wanted to do with Probuilder, and that was select all those things. Okay, so here's the steering wheel. Remember, we already Probuilderized. I'm switching to vertex selection and Control A to select all. And I'm going to go to, here I'm in the Probuilder menu, UV Editor. Okay, UV Editor. Sometimes you need to switch to select face and convert it to a box to kind of get it shaped different. This really isn't shaped better at all. Auto probably was better, but it doesn't matter for what I'm doing here because I'm just going to scale this down to pretty tiny and zoom in, which isn't fun on a trackpad. And I'm going to move these to, I want to move these over. I want to move, I don't even have them all. What the heck? Control All. Shift, what are these? I don't know what's going on. Scale it down to a teeny. Come back here, and let's just make our steering wheel black. I cannot figure out why I want this guy. Click, drag. Thank you. Okay. I just want my steering wheel black. All right. I want the rest of my screen back. Let's go like this. All right, steering wheel's black. Fantastic. All right, go back to Playmaker. So on the steering wheel, which I already have the FSM there, we're turning, what are we in? What's in our inspector? I want to make sure our inspector's not locked. All right, steering wheel and front wheel turn. Did my project not save again? All right, demo cart. We have follow sphere, front wheel turn, wheel spin. Why does my steering wheel also have all of these on it? Because it shouldn't. The only thing my steering wheel should have it on it is, we're going to keep the front wheel turn. It's so weird. But we're going to call this steering wheel turn. All right, let's click edit to make sure that the right one is popping up. I'm trying to touch my screen like you can see it. Make sure that we're editing the right one over here, and we are. So we're getting the horizontal axis. We're clamping it to -35 every frame. We want to set the rotation. We're going to do it with the owner this time. Previously, my previous tutorial, not one you've seen, but one I had to throw away, I had it on the parent, so I'm not sure why it's working on the child this time. It shouldn't be. But we don't need all of these extra ones. I guess we just had one extra one. So we're doing it on self, every frame, set the rotation of the steering wheel. It shouldn't work, but let's hit play. And are we maximizing on play? Let's see what happens. Let's hit play and see what happens. Yeah. Beautiful. I have no idea why that's working, but beautiful. There we go. So we have the steering wheel turning with the wheels. The cart is turning. Everything looks amazing. So that's all we're really going for in this part, but I'm going to give you an introduction to part 3 because this method that we've done so far works fine when you have a flat course. And probably works if you have like small hills and whatnot. But what would happen if we took it to this arena over here? All right, so here's our demo cart. I might not even move the demo cart because I got one over here already, I think. Do I? Is there a cart over here already? No? Yes, there's one right here. I'm just going to steal this cart that's already over here. All right, it's got all the same stuff on it. Okay. And so I have mesh colliders on everything in this little arena. But as you can see, we have some jumps, okay, and some ramps. So let's see what happens. But we got to change our, we need to turn off that cart. And we need to go to our main camera and change it to follow the other cart's follow point. All right, and let's see what this looks like with our current method. Because it looked great on the other course, but let's see what it looks like on this course. I feel like I'm going a little too fast, but look at that. Okay, that's not ideal. So we have a couple issues here. Gravity isn't impacting it like we'd think. And we have some clipping when going through the ramp, but also our cart isn't really rotating like it should based on the curvature. And in case you forgot, why is it not? because there's no physics on it. There's not even a rigid body on our cart. Let's go back to here and let's make our sphere visible. And let's make our cart not so visible. And just the steering wheel's kind of in my way. I'm just going to deactivate the steering wheel. All right, we can maximize this again. Okay, so this is all that's happening, right? So our real body of our cart is this sphere. So like here, the wheels go right through, but that's because our sphere is what's determining what's happening. Actually, this cart, the sphere's kind of in the wrong place, right? Shouldn't the sphere be more in the front? Let's do that. This one we didn't, this one, for some reason, in my example, I didn't have. Right, so if I go to my sphere, mesh renderer, oh, I did have it on the axles, kind of. Let's go to ISO view, this, then this. But again, where's the point that the cart is following? So if I hit play, unmaximize, oh, go back to scene, ISO view from the side. What's going on here? Focus. Ha! All right. So the sphere isn't going to the front because on the follow sphere, it's getting the sphere's position and the cart. Oh, yeah, so me moving it to the axle made no difference. All right, so here we have our sphere. Our wheels go into the ground because they're forward of the sphere. All right, our sphere is just kind of keeping the thing centered. And notice gravity, you can really tell how gravity isn't really impacting it like it should. All right, and like if we hit this ramp here, it's not reacting at all like it should be. So we're gonna do a few things on the next tutorial for this. What we need to do is we need to fix it to where our gravity works like it should. And we also need to figure out a way to make it better whenever we're hitting ramps so that our car doesn't go through objects like this. All right, so stay tuned next time for us to fix that.